Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a new endgame video. In this video we're gonna have a look at a fortress or not with one single bishop versus a rook and a h-pawn. So let's start with the question which is very simple. Is this a draw or not? Black to move. Can you hold the position or not? You can pause the video if you like and think about it for longer. It's not that easy, even for experienced club players. It should be quite tough. And yeah, we will continue with the solution step by step. So let me first say a few words about the position. So why can black actually hope for a draw, being so much material down? The first reason is because this king is in the right corner. What does it mean to be in the right corner? Means we have the bishop which can kind of stalemate the king if the rook gives a check. We have no square left for the king, so he cannot really win the bishop by bringing us into Zugzwang, because it would just be stalemate. So that's very important. We just have some surviving chances here because we are in the corner where we can play for this stalemate. If we would have the other bishop, we would just be lost in this corner, even if white wouldn't have this pawn. So that's the first reason. The other reason is this pawn is already quite far advanced. If this pawn would be a bit more behind, then white would definitely be winning. So let's start with the solution, and there are basically two moves you could consider. The first one is playing bishop c4, trying to organize the stalemate, and after check going there, not seeing any progress for white. Okay, the second one is running away with the king and just preventing the mate. He cannot renew the threat, he can give a check, but we go here and maybe the white king is not getting forward, or he can give this check and we go here or even back. That's a big question. So let's have a look at bishop to c4 first, because this seems like quite a good try, and it had been tried by many strong players, I think, and I also consider this one as quite reliable. But white can win here by releasing the black king from the corner. Okay, black has no other move. He needs to move the king, and white is then giving a check. So what can he do here? Can he put the bishop in between, or does he need to move the king? I think he needs to move the king back to h8 again. Let us check why. If he moves the bishop here, I think white has a check, and if the king goes back, white has another check, and the position is just lost. He has one more trick, going to the corner, because we cannot take the bishop because of stalemate, but I think something like king h6 should do the job, and we can still hope for a stalemate, but it's not really happening. White is just waiting one more time, the bishop needs to move, and then rook b8 comes with a check. So white is winning here. So no bishop f7, also no king to f8, because after king f6 mate is threatened, and after bishop to here, the bishop is just dropping, but also there would not be any stalemate and the bishop is lost. So that's not possible. Black's only chance is to go back to the corner, but now white can approach with the king, and this bishop doesn't have a check, so it doesn't need to pick any square on this diagonal, for example c4. But now comes the winning maneuver. White is not forced to repeat this check, because then black would again be stalemated for a moment and white would need to release the tension, but white can instead play rook to h7 check and then threaten mate on d8. It's very important to threaten mate on d8, and it can be quite instructive for understanding piece coordination, piece domination, because we also want to guard our own king from the checks, and on this square the rook is doing both. And basically what black is just having one good response to prevent the checkmate, which is going back to h8 again. Because the bishop cannot do anything, and running out of the corner like this would be just too far away. White would stay with the rook on the 8th rank, and king would come to g7 and the pawn would queen easily. So the king would need to go back to the corner, but now white is in time to play h6, because this bishop has no check and it's not able to return to a good square. And for example, after any bishop move, we play pawn to h7 and next a check on d8. Also, if the bishop goes to, let's say, b3, planning to go bishop c2, it doesn't matter because we go h7 anyway. And after this check, our rook is on the 7th rank and we will recapture on h7 or give mate on d8 next. So quite a long line, but this shows how black would lose in case of bishop c4. So basically there is no other move left than king g8 and black should try this. Now the crucial thing is, how should black react after this move? And the answer to this is he should go to f8. The key principle is, now there are no time gaining rook h7 motives or no checkmate threats in the air, and at the same time the white king is quite restricted and it cannot really come forward without letting the black king return to the corner. So what could he try? If the rook, for example, attacks the bishop, black can just wait. And once white wants to push this pawn here, he must play something like king g5. But now we would return, and after something like h6, white is not really getting h7 in because it's always covered by the bishop. And yeah, there is just no win here. So what else could he try? For example, white could try to keep the king cut off from the g line and then promote the h pawn. What do we do here? We just wait with the bishop, and at the moment the king will cross the g file, then we will also return and there is no danger. Note that it's important to pick the squares for your bishop wisely, because bishop e4 could be dangerous, because after something like king g5 you cannot return to the g file because of this discovered check. So we should rather stay away a bit further, but then it's no problem, and black should draw this also quite easily. White can wait, but at the moment white plays this, black will return here, maybe here. And again, white is not managing to get a pawn to h7 because our bishop will always be ready to capture it. So that's it. The correct answer is we need to play king g8, then king f8, and in the right moment return to the corner. So let's finally have a look at why after this check it's so important to go to f8 and why we can't return to h8, but maybe you can spot this on your own. So the answer is white could play rook d7 here, and after this we don't have time to play king g8, king f8 again because the bishop is attacked. Now the only move would be bishop to c4, but after this we enter basically the first variation where black tried to defend with the stalemate idea, but we do it the same way like this. Then after this we push the pawn. No, we don't push the pawn. We push the king, of course. Then this bishop needs to move out again, no matter where. We give this intermediate check, king goes there, then we threaten a checkmate while at the same time controlling the bishop's check. And at this moment the king needs to return, but we play h6, the bishop has no check now, and that's why we will manage to play h7 and win the game. So that's it. I hope you could learn something from it, both from the defensive and the attacking side. And if you like the video, please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.